Hello, guys, and welcome to another live stream with me, Professor Heather Austin. Boy, do we have a jam-packed session planned for you today. So we are talking all about mastering ChatGPT, and I'm going to be sharing with you AI prompts that every job seeker must know. Now, here's the thing. For today's training, you are definitely going to want to get your favorite pen or pencil. You're definitely going to want to get a notepad and take lots of notes. We do have replays available of today's session. There is no other session out there like today on the internet. So if you are a job seeker that's either facing rejections, tired of the ghostings, tired of the countless you're not hearing back from recruiters. If you are ready to land your ideal job offer, you need to tune in today because what I'm sharing with you is working gangbusters for our clients and our students. Now, before we jump into the amazing content, I need to ask you a really, really, really big, huge favor. I need you to hit the thumbs up button on this video, and I need you to subscribe to this channel. Now, your love and your support allows us to keep doing these live shows for free on the internet so that anyone on planet Earth can watch them. But we really, really, really need you to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so that we know that you are having value in this training and that you want to be here and that we can help other people. It will continue to allow us to keep moving forward on this channel. So here's the thing. If you've ever been to a training of mine, I ask lots of questions, I share lots of visual examples, and today is going to be no different. So let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. Let me know also if you are a first-time listener or if you've attended a live training of mine before. So I know that there's a lot of you that jumped in early. Patricia, so happy to see you. Tim, happy that you're here. Ahmad is here. Mark is here. Hoofy is here. Catherine, Shanker, Michael, David. Oh my gosh, Valerie, Ann, Nancy, so happy to see you guys. Can I just tell you, I love you guys so much. I'm so happy that you're here. Tane, Jana, you guys are amazing. And today you are going to get so much value out of today's training. We're just going to jump right into it because we have a lot to cover. If you're joining us on the replay or you're just jumping in right now, please let us know where you're joining us from. Type into the chat who you are, where you're joining from. I'm going to ask lots of questions today, so get ready for the questions that are coming your way. So we are going to talk about mastering ChatGPT. Essential AI prompts that every job seeker must know. I'm going to be sharing with you guys lots of free resources. I'm also going to be sharing with you lots of stories from other job seekers, the steps that you need to take to achieve the same success that they have achieved. And I'm going to be sharing with you a very special offer for our most popular career resource, the Career Advancement Toolkit. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the very end, okay? Now, here's the thing. As we are going and you're hitting that subscribe button, you're hitting that like button, I want to share with you guys just a few of the companies that we have been able to help our clients land job offers at, okay? So Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Paramount, Intel, Disney, the New York Times, Stanford, Harvard, the list goes on and on. So I want to share with you guys lots of stories about the individuals who have landed job offers and job interviews at companies like this, okay? We have been featured as a YouTube educator. Your support on this channel means that we can continue to help more people land top offers and we can continue to be a featured YouTube educator. So again, give this channel the love. We are just thrilled that you guys are here. And of course, I love you guys. So here's the thing. We have our very first free resource. If you have not yet already downloaded your 25 powerful prompts for job seekers, the link is in the chat for you. Tori is also here, by the way. Most of you guys, if you've been to the show, you know Tori. She is my amazing assistant. She has been with me since day one. I love her to pieces, and we could not pull this off without her. So everyone say hi to Tori. She's also going to be sharing links with you to the free resources, including the toolkit later on as we're going. So say hi to her, but go to heatheraustin.online/prompts to download your free cheat sheet. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 more prompts that you can add to that cheat sheet. The prompts I'm sharing with you during today's training, they are not on this cheat sheet. So basically, you're actually getting 35 prompts today, okay? The 25 powerful prompts, that's to help you get started if you haven't already started using AI tools or ChatGPT, okay? Speaking of ChatGPT, make sure if you don't have an account yet, you can create a free account going to chat.openai.com, okay? Now, this is what you'll see when you first get started. You can either log in or sign up if you haven't already. Make sure you go to chat.openai.com to get started. Now, here's the thing. I would love to know, before we jump into the amazing content that we have planned for you guys today, what is your biggest job search challenge, okay? Think about when you're going out there every single day and you're looking for that ideal job offer, what challenge are you facing the most right now? Now, while you guys are typing that in, I actually want to share a story with you, and I'm going to share a clip with you from a client of ours, Noel, who he is a software engineer. He actually used the Career Advancement Toolkit to land interviews at top giants like Google and Amazon, and then he went on to land an amazing job opportunity because his position was eliminated. So I want to know, while you're typing in your biggest challenge, I'm going to share his clip with you. I want to know if any of this resonates with you. So here's Noel.
So I'm a software engineer. So just a tiny little background. I was working for a really long time at the cable company, and I had a management position, and they closed us down and moved our jobs to Texas. So I was freelancing to make money on the side and also working with the local homeless coalition to just like make ends meet basically. And then I was like, okay, I need to like freelancing isn't doing, I need to like get a job.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up stumbling upon, I think it was getting around applicant tracking.
The ATS, yeah.
ATS.
Yeah, that's a big
ATS.
one. What challenge were you having before you invested in the toolkit?
Yeah, so being like in tech and being an engineer, it's a little unique. So one thing was obviously like getting the interview was hard, which is why I was like, okay, these robots are clearly not picking up my resume.
Yeah.
Also, things were like myself, like I wasn't making contact with anyone. There were no touch points. I was just applying to jobs. We all know that doesn't work. But those were like my main struggles. I just like had to build my portfolio and get freelance customers so I could like build on that. And so that was part of my struggle too, just having enough on my portfolio.
What specific milestone would you say after you invested in the toolkit? What like achievement or milestone would you say you achieved as a result of using the toolkit?
I did land interviews with Google and Amazon for software engineering positions.
Good for you. Good for you.
But yeah, so when I got the toolkit and I followed your advice on the videos, like I was in there like highlighting keywords and like putting them into a word cloud and like putting them in my resume. And that summer I got an interview with every job I applied for. And I was like half a dozen or so that I really wanted that I got back, and I ended up working for a little bit. And then I got the position I'm in now. They reached out to me because I applied in the past and they knew me. But yeah, I had a pretty high success rate.
Awesome. That's good. So what would you say was the most valuable thing inside the toolkit, or the resource inside there that was like the biggest aha moment or the biggest game changer in the job search?
For me, definitely the resume. And I think there was also like an email touch point template as well. The resume for me is because I had been out of the workforce, like not out of the workforce. I had been out of the job search process for so long that my resume was like archaic. And you did some resume reviews on one of the videos, and I was like, okay, I want to invest in, like, I really appreciate all this information. I want to invest in you. I want to invest in myself. I'm like, this is a win-win. And I'm glad I did it because it worked.
Okay, so if you had a friend that was in the job search process or experiencing like frustration trying to find their next ideal job offer, what would you tell them about the toolkit?
I'm gonna tell them to get it. Come on now. It's like I'm all about investing in yourself, because I'm like, if you don't do it, like nobody else is going to, usually. Not always, but sometimes. And the product has value, especially with the tough job market right now. Like I just think like it's just such a good investment.
Okay, so you guys, the thing that I love about what Noel said is his resume was archaic. He had not been in the job search for so long. He ended up using the tools and the resources in the toolkit. He ended up landing an interview at Google and Amazon, and he ended up landing an interview with every position that he applied for. So I know that you guys have the same frustrations that he has. I'm seeing a lot of this in the chat as you guys are typing in. Continue to type in your biggest job search challenge. I have more stories to share with you guys as we go throughout today's training. I want you to know that these guys that I'm sharing success stories with you, they are using the tools that I'm teaching you here today, plus they're using our career advancement toolkit to land job interviews at top companies, okay? Now, here's the thing. Before we dive into everything, we are live, you guys. So turn off all of your distractions, the do not disturb, put that on your phone, grab your favorite pencil, notepad, all that good stuff. If you stick with me until the very end, I'm going to share with you guys where you can get a free 60-minute career strategy consultation with me and my team, okay? Now, my next question for you: what is your ideal job title? Okay. What is your ideal job title? Type that into the chat. While you're typing that in, here's a quick glance of what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT seamlessly in every phase of your job hunt. We're going to talk about how to target the hidden job market with smart AI prompts and effective networking strategies. We're going to then dive into crafting a winning resume that stands out in every HR system. We'll move on to how you're going to adapt your cover letter to resonate with diverse employers. And then we're also going to cover the art of job interviews. And I'm going to share with you guys some unique AI prompts that will help you craft impeccable job interview responses. Now, we also have live resume reviews at the end. Now, here's the thing. I could have broken this training into probably 3, 4, 5 days. So we are going to cover a lot, you guys. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you're active in the chat because I like to ask lots of questions. I'm loving all of the job titles that I'm seeing in here. I see Director of Operations. Hi, Chad. So happy you're here. I see Cloud Solutions Architect from Rick. I love it. Vivian says Product Marketing Manager. Christopher says Operational Excellence Manager. I love that. Anissa says data analyst. Anne says health and life coach. I love it. There are so many people from all across the globe here, and all of you guys have so many different titles. So I want to share with you a couple things that I want you to keep in mind as we're talking about AI and you using a resource like ChatGPT, okay? There is a way to interact with AI. At the end of this live stream too, I'm going to share with you guys just things to look out for as you're using it. But right now, I want to focus on how you're going to get the most out of AI if you haven't already started using AI, okay? In fact, type into the chat if you already have a ChatGPT account, or if you've already started using AI, type either yes in the chat, or if you haven't, that's okay too, type no. So when we talk about using AI for your job search, okay, we want to make sure you are engaging in some dialogue, okay? Approach this, and I've said this before in my trainings, as if you're having a conversation with a person, not a bot, okay? The other thing I want you to think about is using detailed prompts. So the more descriptive you can be in your queries or in your questions with your AI friend, the better the responses are going to be. Clarify your intention, okay? So this is where you need to clearly articulate how you intend to utilize the information. Like, here's an example. When I'm helping someone with a resume, if we don't specifically say, can you help me with my professional resume summary? And we give it specifics about what a resume summary is. ChatGPT actually writes what's called an objective statement. An objective statement is what we put on resumes long ago. So it gets confused. So you have to be very clear with your intentions, okay? The other thing is ask follow-up questions. So you want to always be seeking additional insight, asking for further information to gain a better understanding. And then finally, experiment with your phrasing. Like I said with the resume summary, if I just said, can you write a resume summary? It gives me something different. But if I say, can you write a professional summary for my resume? And I give it a little bit more detail, and I have to sometimes change the words, then I get back what I want to see, okay? So here's the thing. There is research out now. I know there's so many conflicting ideas about if you guys should and shouldn't be using AI, okay? Number one, it's here to stay. It makes me think of this time when I was in high school, an email came out. That's how old I am. The very first email, like we could email someone in high school and it was like, what the heck is this? And it was like the coolest thing ever. This is the same thing. Email never went away all those years ago when I was a junior in high school. AI is here to stay. What we are finding, and based on research that big, large organizations are doing, is that job seekers who use AI are seeing a higher response rate from hiring managers. Okay, in one survey, they reported that 78% of people secured an interview and 59% went on to get hired over those that don't use AI. Okay, so there is a proper way to use it. And there is a not proper way to use it, okay? So I'm going to be sharing with you guys all the strategies in today's training. Now, for those who have started using AI, what tool have you recently used? So type into the chat, what tool have you recently used in your AI usage of tools? I mean, there's so many out there. Of course, the one that I'm sharing with you guys today is ChatGPT. I see a lot of people have said yes. Catherine says, I don't have an objective statement on my CV. That's good. Someone's saying I don't have ChatGPT. And there is a free account. Okay, you do not need to pay for the paid version of it. Okay. Okay, so while you guys are typing that in, let's jump into how to use ChatGPT in every phase of your job hunt. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys a cycle. Okay, and I'm going to kind of read each piece off pretty quickly, but this is what I look at as the 7-step journey or the job search success cycle. Okay, so I look at the job search in 7 different categories. Okay, so we're always going to start with our targeted job search. And by the way, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 additional prompts to help you with your job search, and they cover this area. Okay, they cover every piece that I'm going to teach you guys here today. So you're always going to have your targeted job search. You have your networking strategy, which I put as the second step in the cycle, only because you're constantly doing the networking cycle. You're constantly networking throughout the entire cycle. Okay, so that's something that's probably one of the most important things here. You always have a resume/CV. Okay, you're going to have a cover letter that makes up part of this job search success cycle. You have your LinkedIn profile. You're going to have your interview prep. And then finally, you're going to have your salary negotiation. Now, the free cheat sheet that I shared with you guys in the chat, that contains 25 prompts. I'm going to be giving you guys 10 more prompts today. But here's the thing. We've created a brand new resource inside of our Career Advancement Toolkit. It actually contains 120 plus prompts. Now, this cheat sheet that we have here with the tutorial to accompany it, it has been a game changer for our toolkit users. There's a lot of people that have said, hey, I either haven't started using ChatGPT yet, but I'm interested, or I have no desire to use it. When you see this cheat sheet of our powerful prompts, and by the way, this is the 120, it allows you to get your feet wet, and it allows you to see what can I start asking my AI friend to help me with my job search to streamline the entire process, okay? Okay, next question for you guys. Of those, the 7 cycles, the 7 parts of that cycle that I just shared with you guys, which part of the job search do you need the most help with? Okay, so there were 7 pieces. Let me refresh your memory again. These 7 pieces, which part of this cycle do you feel like you need that most help with? So type that into the chat. Okay, while you guys are typing that in, we are moving along. I want to talk about how you're going to target the hidden job market with smart AI prompts and effective networking strategies. So here's where I'm going to start sharing some additional prompts with you guys, okay? Before I share some prompts, I want you to keep a couple things in mind. I have some more statistics for you, okay? So the first statistic that I shared with you is how job seekers are increasing their success and their response rate from hiring managers just by using AI. Well, here's the other thing. If you couple that with networking, okay, we know based on research, and by the way, if you guys ever need to know, like, Heather, where'd you get these numbers? I'm a professor and I'm all about citing sources, and I have links and data that back up everything that I share. If you ever need question that and you want to know where it comes from, let me know because I'll share the links with you. If you are networking, okay, what we have found is that 85% of jobs are actually filled through networking, and that 70% of jobs are never published publicly. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you guys in the rest of this training is going to relate to this, but it's also going to help you tap into that hidden job market. Okay. So here's another graph I want you guys to think of. We all know what an iceberg is. We've all seen this before. How I want you to think about networking for your next job is you have your known job opportunities. Those are in the top of the iceberg, okay? We can see all those. That's if I go to LinkedIn and if I go to Indeed and I see like 100 jobs, if I want to be a productions and operations person or a project manager or an accountant or a data scientist or a data analyst, I can see all those. That's great, okay? Those are all there. However, it's the hidden job opportunities that we really want to dive into. Now, think of the slide I just shared with you guys before, okay? 80% of jobs are filled through networking, 70% are never published publicly, okay? And these are the good jobs. So I want you guys to focus on what those hidden job opportunities are. Now, there's 3 things you're going to focus on, and then I'm going to share with you guys our first prompt. I want you to find roles that align with your skills and aspirations. I want you to locate top companies. Okay. Again, this all relates to your targeted job search. And I want you to connect with key decision makers. So here's the thing. I know you're probably like, what are you talking about? This is, okay, it might not be confusing for some of you, but hey, I get overwhelmed really fast. I'm going to share with you guys a prompt for each of these categories, okay? So we're going to find roles that align with your skills and aspirations. We're going to locate top companies, and we're going to connect with key decision makers. That is going to be the underside of that ice cube, okay? Or that iceberg. Is this making sense so far to you guys? Type yes into the chat if it's making sense. I'm going to share prompts with you for every single part of this slide right now. Yes. Good. I love to see your guys' comments. Keep commenting. The job search cycle that you need the most help with. I'm seeing a lot of LinkedIn. Yvette says all of the above. Yes, positioning my resume, work history, networking. Networking's a big one, you guys. This is awesome. Good. Okay. Good. Making sense. Awesome. Thanks, Marcia. Marcia says, yes, makes lots of sense. Okay. So I'm going to share with you guys 3 prompts. And by the way, these prompts are not in the free cheat sheet that I shared with you guys. So take a screenshot. Okay. So our very first prompt, again, we're tapping into the hidden job market, is we don't want to go to Indeed and LinkedIn and see all these thousands of jobs. We want to get really specific and drive our job search in a very targeted way, okay? So our very first prompt is we're going to find roles that align with your skills and aspirations. Now, if you already know what those roles are, you could pretty much ignore this slide, but you still might want to take a screenshot of it, okay? So it says my top skills are X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to give it my top skills, and my aspirations are A, B, and C. And maybe you only have like 2 skills you want to list or 2 aspirations. That's okay. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you suggest job roles or career paths that would best align with my skills and aspirations? But here's the thing. Remember, you guys, I said to keep digging deeper with what you're asking it. I'm going to also say, additionally, provide a brief description of each role and its relevance to the mentioned skills and aspirations. Okay? Because most people are just going to say, hey, I'm really good at this, and here's what my aspirations are. What job should I do? But if we dig a little bit deeper and we're now asking it, can you give me a brief description of the role and its relevance? Okay. Now, here's just a quick glance at what ChatGPT might give you, okay? And this is me based on, I actually gave ChatGPT some real skills and some real aspirations. So here it says, given these skills and aspirations, here are the job roles / career paths. So it's telling me, not that these aren't my skills, but these are just based on a scenario I gave it. I could be a data analytics team lead. I could be a product data manager in a tech startup. I could be a client data liaison. Okay. And by the way, this is just a small piece of what it gave me. I think it gave me like 10 or like 15 positions. Okay. This is so valuable, you guys. If you are lost, if you're not sure what direction to even take, I get a lot of people that are like, I'm in this industry right now and I'm dying to get out of it and I want to switch to something else. I'm just not sure what to switch to. And this prompt that I just gave you is a really, really, really good way to help you get some ideas going, okay? Now, next prompt that I want you to think about, okay, is we're now wanting to do a targeted job search. We don't want to go to LinkedIn and Indeed and all those job boards and sort through all the things, okay? We want to target specific companies. I'm telling you, when you do this, it's going to cut your job search time in half and it's going to keep your confidence intact, okay? Because there's nothing worse than applying for jobs that you're qualified for and either not hearing back, getting totally rejected, or whatever. Like, that's not good for you. So we don't want to go down that path. We want to go down the path of specific results and a targeted job search. So take a screenshot of this. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to do that. This one says, my current job title is XYZ. I have X number of years of experience doing XYZ. I specialize in XYZ. So we're telling it our job title, how many years we've had experience in this industry, what we're doing, what we specialize in, what top 30 companies should I target for my new job? And you could say, what top 10? You could give it a location. You could say, I live in this location. Who should I target? Like, you can get so specific with this prompt, okay? Everyone have the screenshot? Because I'm going to move on to what the results look like. Okay, so the results is this, and this is, again, is a totally different scenario that I used. This is what ChatGPT gives me. It's like, hey, here are some top companies that come to mind. It includes Amazon, Google, Facebook, yada, yada, yada. Now, here's the thing, you guys. You could even say, can you drill down even more and maybe not give me like all these big, huge companies, but give me some smaller, like tech startups, mom, pa type companies, get a little bit more granular. Don't go so big, okay? But this is giving me some really good places that I could start. Does that make sense, you guys? Is that all kind of like, you're like, okay, yes, I can do this. Okay, let's go into the next prompt, and then we're going to jump into step number 3. So here's how I want to, again, we're still talking about those hidden job markets under the iceberg, okay? I now need to connect with key decision makers and hiring officials. Okay, so this is the prompt that I'm going to use to help me do that, okay? So I say, hey, and by the way, take a screenshot of this, you guys. I would like to reach out to a recruiter at company X, Y, and Z about the whatever position, okay? Can you write an engaging, thoughtful message that lets the recruiter know I'm super excited and eager about the next steps in the process? Emphasize my expertise in X, Y, and Z and my problem-solving skills in A, B, and C, okay? Remember, you need to fill in those blanks, okay, in order for this to be effective. And then I'm going to say, end with an enticing call to action. Now, here's something else I could do. Instead of saying, I want to reach out to the recruiter, I could say, hey, I want to reach out to this key decision maker at company XYZ about the such and such position. Can you write an engaging, thoughtful message to this person, letting them know that you could bring something about them into it, letting them know that I think the recent project that they worked on in yada, yada, yada was super neat, and let them know that I would love to join their team. Okay, so this is to help you guys get started on reaching out under that iceberg to recruiters, hiring officials, CEOs, leaders, managers, supervisors, key decision makers. Okay, that's the whole point. You need to get yourself in front of a person in order for these results to take place, okay? In order for you to have job search success, you need to get in front of a person. Now, my next question for you guys, on a scale of 1 to 5, rate your networking skills. So 1 is you don't reach out to anyone ever, okay? And 5 is you're reaching out to anyone you can think of that works for a company when you find a job that you really like. Scale of 1 to 5, rate your networking skills. And by the way, you guys, we are still going to do resume reviews at the end of this, and I'm going to be taking questions too. So while you're rating your networking skills, let's talk about your winning resume, okay? Now, I did a whole entire separate training on this a couple weeks back, and we like really broke the resume down step by step, how we're using ChatGPT or AI to help us. So I'm kind of condensing this, okay? I'm kind of giving you guys just the Cliff Notes version of what you need to know to make your resume stand out in every HR system, okay? So I'm going to share a couple visuals with you. I want you to think about what I call the SMART resume structure, okay? Now, here's just an example of a resume that I have on the page, okay? In fact, let me hide my face for a second so you can see the entire, let's see, is this me? Let me see if that works. Okay, there we go. So you can see the entire resume, and I'll put my face back up in a second. So our SMART resume structure is always going to start with the top part of our resume, and I'm going to share with you guys kind of what you can do with ChatGPT to make this even better, okay? Here we go. Okay, so we have the top part, that's always going to be there. Okay, the next thing I want you to look at is your work experience. Okay, we're then going to have some sort of education and training section. Okay, and then I always want to see, and these are the 4 parts that I recommend for every single resume. Okay, they might flow differently depending on your situation. You might have other things depending, but this is just like the SMART resume structure. Okay. After education, we're always going to have like some sort of skills and other sections, okay? Now this, what I have up on the screen, that's like a 2-page, okay? If you are 7 to less years of experience in the industry, you can stick to a 1-page. If you have more than 7 years of experience, you can go to a 2-page resume. If you're going to a 2-page, you basically need to fill the page with your work experience, most of your resume, and then you can start adding on other things like professional skills, volunteer experience, awards and honors, that kind of stuff, okay? And this is just a little tiny glimpse, you guys, on what you can actually add to a resume. But just so I want you to know the structure, okay? Once you get the structure in place, here's my prompt for you, my next prompt. So this is prompt number 4, okay? I'm going to say to ChatGPT, hi, this is a new job I'm applying for. Okay, so I'm going to give it the job description. Can you help me extract the top 5 to 10 key skills from this position? So the very first thing we need to do is we even need to know what are the key skills, okay? So kind of think about the journey I'm taking you guys through. You're getting very specific with your job search first, and you're looking for those hidden opportunities. You're finding those opportunities, and then we got to get all that into your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, your interview. Like you're now going to put all this together in a nice, seamless job search process, okay? So you're going to ask it to extract the top 5 to 10 skills from the position, okay? Once you get those top 5 to 10 skills, in fact, I think I have a screenshot. Yes, okay. Here's some results that I was looking at a position. I said, hey, what are the top 5 or 10 skills? It gives me a list of what those skills are, and it actually gives me the description, okay? So then what I need to do is I need to say, okay, these are the top 10 from this job description. I better go put that into my resume. I better go put that into my LinkedIn profile. I need to go emphasize this in my cover letter. I need to emphasize this in my interview responses. Here's just a quick screenshot of what you would do in your resume. You'll have your title, and then you're going to add 3 key skills from whatever ChatGPT is telling you, and you're going to put it at the top under your title, okay? Is that valuable for you guys? Type yes into the chat if this is something that's doable and you're thinking, oh, easy, I got that, okay? Okay, my next prompt for you now, when it comes to, we're still kind of talking about your resume. So this is prompt number 5, is I now want to craft a summary. Okay, remember we talked about the summary. I'm going to craft a compelling resume summary, and I'm asking ChatGPT to highlight my X number of years of experience in the ABC field. Okay, I want ChatGPT to showcase how my professional background and my expertise can address the company's major pain points. But I also I want to say, hey, can you mention my notable accomplishment of XYZ? And can you conclude by emphasizing my experience, my expertise in ABC? This is the thing, you guys. This prompt is tailor-made by me. I have tailor-made this prompt based on how I teach people to write a really powerful resume summary. Okay? When it comes to your resume, the hiring official literally has 2 seconds to read it. I want them to read your title and your summary and be convinced before they look at anything else that they should bring you in for an interview. Okay? So take a screenshot of this because I want to show you guys just a quick example of what this looks like. Okay, so I get this 3 key skills in. I'm now going to go back to my resume and I'm going to rewrite my summary based on what ChatGPT gives me, or whatever AI, Bard, whoever you're using, whatever you're using. Here's the thing. You have to tailor this. You have to personalize it. There will be some times where it gives you exactly what you want. There will be sometimes it gives you something and you're like, what is that? Like, I can't use that. And you have to ask it again. You have to rephrase your questioning. But if you use, again, I'm going to go back to prompt 5. If you use this as your starting point, more times than not, it's going to give you almost exactly what you want to put into your summary, okay? Now, a couple other prompts when it comes to the resume, and then we're going to dive into the cover letter really quick. Prompt number 6 is, let's say we get your resume kind of squared away. And by the way, you guys, I did a full-blown training on how to use AI to write your resume. Tori, maybe if you could find the link to that, it was a live training just like this. And we went step by step through the resume. In fact, I even think I have a video that I go step by. We put out so much content, I forget what content's out there. We have so much stuff on our channel that you can go find exactly how to use AI to write your resume. Here's a prompt, however, that once you get the pieces put together, you can go into ChatGPT and you can say, hey, I'm applying for the XYZ position at company ABC. I'm going to give it a current copy of my resume. Can you provide areas of improvement and suggestions on how to enhance my resume for this position? Okay. Now, here's the thing. You can also give it a copy of the job description and ask it that same question. It's going to give you some general guidelines on what you can do to change your resume, yada, yada, yada. And you can, start putting that into your resume to make it even better. Now, here's another prompt that I want you to keep in mind that you can use for your resume. So prompt number 7 is going to be great. Now, here's the job description. How can I better tailor my resume to this position? Okay. So notice in these 2 prompts, what I've done is the first prompt, prompt 6, I'm giving it my current resume and saying, how can I make it better? Then I'm giving it the job description. What I've noticed working with ChatGPT, sometimes if you give it so much information, like you say, here's a job description and here's my resume and can you blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it times out. Has that ever happened to you guys? So in that case, I like to take it step by step. So when I'm teaching people or working with a client or when I do a one-on-one session with someone and we're looking at their resume and we're looking at how AI can help, I always suggest breaking it down section by section instead of the entire piece. Because I feel like with the entire piece, sometimes the information gets jumbled. It doesn't come out exactly how you want it to. And you want to make sure it's succinct and that it flows nicely. I like to write each section separately. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing, you guys. I will be sharing in just a minute where you can grab the Career Advancement Toolkit, but we have all the resume templates that you could possibly think of for any situation inside of the toolkit. So let's say you go into ChatGPT. It gives you a lot of the information that you want. And by the way, keep in mind, you're not just going in there not knowing what to do. I'm giving you the exact prompt to ask it. I'm telling you exactly what to ask it to get the result that you need. Then you're going to take that and you're going to pop it into our beautiful, amazing, wonderful, award-winning templates inside of the toolkit. And that's what you're going to use when you submit your resume, okay? ChatGPT doesn't give you a nicely formatted resume. There are resume builders that do, but then it's complicated because then it gives you a PDF and it's hard to edit. This is your copy for life, okay? And we have templates for career transitioners, templates for you want to just get a promotion, okay? We have templates for if you have an employment gap. We have templates for if you just graduated high school or college or you have no experience at all. So there's a lot of resources inside the toolkit for you, but this is just an example of one of those, okay? Now, question for you. On your resume, what top 3 skills can you add to your headline? Okay, so your resume headline, I just shared with you guys a screenshot of that. What top 3 skills can you add to your headline? I want to see really quickly if we have some questions that we can answer. I know that I've kind of seen you guys in there. Let's see. It's popping up on my screen. Let's see. Andrea asked a question. Where's your question, Andrea? Let me get to it. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my screen. I'm trying to use some. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to answer this question. Do you guys see that one on the screen? Okay. I have 9 years of experience and currently pursuing my master's. My question is, should I put education before experience or experience should come first? This is fantastic. This is a great question. It totally depends on the position you're applying for. So I come from the world of academia, right? Where we always put our education first if we're applying for like a professorship or like some sort of research position, okay? In the corporate world, normally you don't put education first. Now, especially with 9 years of experience, you've got to think about this one question. What do they need to know about you to really make a decision? Now, is it going to be most important for them to know that you're currently pursuing a master's? Are they going to be super impressed by that? And is that going to be the thing that puts them over the top and says, oh, I want to bring this person in for an interview? Or is it going to be your 9 years of work experience? If I had to guess based on what I know, which I don't know a lot about your current situation, I would say have your experience first, then have your education. If you're applying, however, for a teaching position, a research position, something to that effect, and you're a recent graduate, you can have it first. But I think in your case, I would put it after experience, especially since you have 9 years. Does that help? Good question. I like that little thing that can pop up. Let me see if I can get another one. Because I know that you guys had some good questions in here. Tori's also putting the questions in a different document for me so I can see them, because the chat sometimes moves super fast. Let's see. I can't find Andrea's question, but let me go to, someone had said, does using ChatGPT, everyone in the same industry will have the same CV? No. ChatGPT is very specific on your user experience with it and when you go in and you ask it questions and the information you give it. I don't know the research that's been done in terms of, let's say I type something in on my end and you're clear in another country or in another state and you type something in and we give it the same information. Is it going to give back the same data? I don't think it does that. It's very tailored to you and what you put into the chat and the information you give it. So the more specific you can get with it, the better. Okay. Good questions, you guys. Okay, let me just scroll down, see if we have anything else. Skills. I want to see what you guys have said in terms of skills for your resume. So keep adding those in if you haven't already. And then I'll come back and answer some of these other questions. Okay, let's look at really quickly your cover letter and how we want to adapt your cover letter to resonate with diverse employers. You guys are going to be blown away. I have one prompt for you and one prompt, that's all, for your cover letter, okay? You ready for it? I should play a drum roll if I had one. Okay, here is your prompt. This is prompt number 8 based on today's training. One prompt. Now, here's the thing, you guys, before I read this off. When you are using and coming up with your own prompts or using prompts, the more information you know yourself on how to write a really good cover letter, the better the response is going to be. Now, if you had no idea about cover letters and you're like, what do I even say? What do I even do? Yada, yada, yada. It's probably not going to be as great as if you know what you're doing. So this is an exact prompt that I've created based on how I teach my clients and my students to write their cover letter. Okay. So before we read it, let me take a quick drink. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, can you help me write a 4-paragraph cover letter for the XYZ position at company ABC? Placing a strong emphasis on my skills in, so I'm going to give it my skills. Here's where the detail comes into place, you guys. In paragraph 1, state my love and enthusiasm for the position. Okay. If you followed me and you know how I teach cover letters, you would know that I teach you in paragraph 1 to show your love and enthusiasm for the position. In paragraph 2, show how I'm the solution the company needs. In paragraph 3, share a brief anecdotal story that is results oriented. And then in paragraph 4, give a call to action for an interview. And then this is where I do say, here's the job description and here's my resume. Now, if you needed to break this apart, you could say, here's the job description. So you give it the job description first, then it gives you the results. Then you come back and you say, okay, this is great. Here's my resume. Can you tailor it more to the position? And then it's going to give you the second version. Keep in mind, you guys, when I was talking to you about how to get the most of AI earlier during this training, you're finessing it. The first response to you is not always going to be the best response, okay? You have to keep asking detailed questions to get the results you want, okay? Does everyone have a screenshot of this prompt? So I'm going to share another resource with you. Yes, Catherine said, this is cool. My cover letter needs plastic surgery, but I've tweaked it a little. I love it, Catherine. Oh, so good. Musa says, my second time watching your live video session on YouTube, and I'm in love with your program. Oh, thank you. I have learned a lot. Kindly request that you do a session for humanitarian aid workers. Ooh, I like that. That's an interesting thought. Yeah. Okay, let me show you guys this video really quick. In fact, I'm going to get the link for you. This is a video we just barely put out that gives you guys the idea. It is basically how to use ChatGPT to write your cover letter. I go through the exact structure of the cover letter because the more you know about how to write a good, effective cover letter, the better. Okay, so watch that video as soon as you're done with this one to help you along the way. Okay, let's jump into, we're getting things rounded off here. Okay, and also, again, we always have the templates and the resources available for you inside of the toolkit. So we have, this is an example of the template and an example that you can now take what ChatGPT is giving you and put it in a nice, neat template. And we have all of these in Microsoft Word. If you need them in Google Doc, we have them in Google Docs as well. But I like to work with Word. So most of them are in there. We have career transitioning cover letter templates, company growth, sales manager cover letter templates and examples. All that's in the toolkit for you, okay? Okay, really quickly, let's talk about your interview, which, by the way, in fact, I don't know if that training's still available. We did do an AI for interviews training just a couple weeks back. But I'm going to give you guys again the Cliff Notes version of this. I want to talk a little bit about mastering the AI prompts to help you craft impeccable interview responses. Okay, so when you're in the interview, you know what you're going to say, you're not getting flustered or overwhelmed, you have kind of like a playbook to follow. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple more prompts. So get your screenshot tools ready, okay? So I have 2 more prompts to share with you. So here's one of the very first ones. You have an upcoming interview at company ABC for the XYZ position. I want to stand out as the best possible candidate. Can you give me a list of 7 questions the interviewer might ask and answers that showcase my strengths and accomplishments? Again, here is the job description and here is my resume. Now, if you needed to take these 2 pieces and break them apart, because here's the thing, AI is growing and evolving so quickly every single day that like a month ago, maybe I couldn't feed it everything, but maybe in like a month from now, I can feed it everything and it's going to give me exactly what I need. That's how quick it's changing and adapting. So you can even ask it to give you 10 questions. But if I needed to break this prompt apart, I could ask it to give me a list of the 7 questions that I should expect from this interview, give it the job description, and then I could say, can you help me craft answers based on my strengths and my accomplishments? And here's my resume, okay? So you could break this apart into 2 prompts if you wanted, but for now, this is gonna be one that's short, sweet, concise, gives it the idea of what you're looking for, and gives you a really good starting point, okay? Everyone have a screenshot of that one? Yes, good. Good. Thanks, Tori. Awesome. I love you. Okay, good. Let's go on to the next prompt. So I was just giving you guys a couple seconds to screenshot that one. The next prompt is we're kind of getting the idea of what we're going to say in the interview, but let's say the interview has concluded and you now need to follow up, okay? So I'm going to say something like, hey, I just had an amazing interview for the XYZ position at company ABC. Can you compose a follow-up message to be sent to the interviewer that emphasizes my strengths in X and Y? Again, you guys are filling in those blanks, and reminds them of my biggest accomplishment doing X, okay? So the only way you even know what to say and have ChatGPT help you with this is because you're here today, of course, number 1. Number 2, hopefully you decide to invest in the toolkit, or you binge watch all the content here on YouTube that we have, and you know what you're doing. I think the problem comes when people try to use an AI tool and they don't know what to even ask it or what to say or what the next step in the process is. I've given you guys a pretty good breakdown of how you're going to move forward in your job search, right? And we have a lot of amazing resources for you. In fact, we also inside the toolkit, let me just give you guys a quick screenshot of the interview follow-up templates. These are just a few of them. And these are all available for you inside the toolkit. You can use these along with our ChatGPT prompts to even customize this even more. But this gives you a really good foundation of, hey, you have a second interview coming up. What do you say? You have a third interview coming up. What do you say? You just had a phone screen interview. You need to accept the job offer. You need to decline the job offer. Like all of these pieces, there's so many little pieces out there. What we are doing for you is putting it all together so that when you go out there to the job market, you're not like, oh crap, what do I do now? Okay. Like we're piecing it all together for you. We also have inside there all of our LinkedIn networking templates, because again, remember, if you think of the iceberg, that very bottom part is going to be your hidden job. That's your hidden job market. That's where these LinkedIn networking templates really come into play. Okay. Now, really quickly, a quick caveat, you guys, I always share potential risks and setbacks of using AI-powered tools like ChatGPT for job seekers, okay? I always share just so that you understand the risks and the setbacks. To me, it is a game changer. It is literally, I am watching it literally change the lives of my clients and my students. That includes my Academy members, my one-on-one coaching members, my toolkit people. If you can use this tool properly and you understand how to use it properly, it is a game changer, okay? Companies are now starting to implement AI recruiters and AI chatbots, and there's so much going on. It's not going away anytime soon. A couple of the caveats here: you don't want to become over dependently on it. You don't want it to be an over reliance. There are biases in AI, so keep that in mind. Double check. Reference your material. Keep in mind also the privacy and security risks. You're never going to share your personal data, okay? So if you're giving it your resume, never give it your full name and your address, and you're just going to give it the information. It doesn't need to know who you are and yada, yada, yada. Okay. And then keep in mind the inaccuracy of the AI generated information. There are still inaccuracies. I still see spelling errors. I still see things pop up that I'm like, oh no, a job seeker is going to type in this message and it's telling them like the exact opposite thing to do. That's why we're doing so many trainings right now on AI, because we're seeing that the job seekers that are using it properly are seeing huge results. And I want to share that with you guys, no matter where you are on planet Earth, no matter what country you're in. Some countries don't even have access to this. Some people don't even have access to the internet. Okay. So I'm trying to teach you guys the real proper way to use this. And I'm not saying I'm like the end all be all to this, but I do my research and we try and put together trainings for you that is the most accurate based on what we know and what we see is working in the market. Okay. So quick question for you. What is your biggest takeaway so far today? Okay. So let me know what your biggest takeaway is. Now, most of you guys, we got tons of resumes, which I'm still going to review, believe it or not. Most of you guys are wanting just a better understanding of how to use ChatGPT. We put lots of surveys out this past week. There's so many of you that are still not using it and not taking advantage of it. And again, that's why we do these trainings, to help you understand it better, get familiar with it so that it can take out some of that frustration and the overwhelm that comes with the job search, right? The majority of you, I know you are here because you want to land a better job offer. You want more work-life balance, whether you're transitioning or you've had a reduction in force. You want more time spending the time with people that you love. Now, everything that I've shared, it's not magic. There's no special juju that we have going on here, but we do have step-by-step guidance and we do have tools that work, and they work for people who want to find work they love. So here's the thing, you guys, while you're typing in your biggest takeaway so far today, I want to invite you to join us in the Career Advancement Toolkit if you do not have this resource already during our fall flash sale. So the toolkit is an elite bundle of video lessons, templates, guides, instructions, and examples to help you secure your next job offer. This is where our number one goal is for you to apply and interview with confidence. Okay, I want to share a couple success stories with you. Meet Serena, who landed her dream job as a marketing manager. She says, I followed all of Professor Heather Austin's advice, from creating the resume and the cover letter to the interview process to revamping the LinkedIn profile and much, much more. I'm so glad that I purchased her program because it made a world of a difference. Here's what Josh said. He says, after being laid off, I found your toolkit and it was an absolute game changer. He says, I was getting interview requests like crazy and ended up landing a job for over $50,000 more per year. He says 100% the best investment ever. Now, I also want to share a quick clip with you guys from Kelly. Kelly actually was applying for positions that she was qualified for. At least she thought she was, but she wasn't hearing anything back. She ended up using the toolkit to increase her salary by 40% and land her dream job. So let me introduce you guys to Kelly.
So I have been a graphic designer for 15 years. I had worked various jobs and recently got a job at my dream job as a visual communications instructor at the community college where I started.
Tell me a little bit about your job search challenge or biggest frustrations that you were having before you invested in the toolkit.
I was applying to a lot of different positions that I was qualified for, but I wasn't hearing back from them. I began searching of reasons, why am I not getting called back? As a graphic designer, your portfolio is everything. And my portfolio was there. But what I discovered was that my resume was lacking. So I started YouTubing and found you. And from there, learned that my layout was not conclusive in the right environment for a bot to read over. It was looking at it as an image instead of text like it should be. After watching many of your videos, I was like, I need to have a plain Jane, better formatted resume. So I have my plain, the template that you gave resume, and then I have a fancy one that I take to job interviews.
That's so smart. Like, what specific milestones or successes have you had as a result of using the toolkit? You mentioned earlier you're in your dream job.
Before I landed this job, so job before last. I had worked in the hunting industry for 8 years as their graphic designer in-house. And that's where I was kind of stagnant in my job search. And so I kind of got really determined I want to find a better job. I started with your toolkit, redid my resume, overhauled my portfolio, and started applying to jobs and started getting twice as many interview requests. One of those interview requests came in the form of a defense contractor. They were really interested in me, so I came and interviewed for the job. I went from making $40,000 a year to $57,000 a year, and I think that was based on my resume. The toolkit also helped with applying for this visual communication job. I really appreciated the AI prompt kit that you've added. It really helped me as far as like a jump off point. I could put in, like you suggested, put in the description for the job, extract the keywords. What do I need to put in my resume? What do I need to be saying? How do I need to word this? It did it. I put it together and submitted it for this job and got it.
Would you say the AI/ChatGPT part was the most helpful resource, or inside the toolkit, what would you say would be the most valuable?
No, definitely the most valuable was the lessons about the resume template. Not the template, but yes, the template itself. But if you only had the template, you wouldn't know how to correctly fill it in. So without the lessons, learning about, quantitative statements, qualitative statements. Mine was more qualitative because it's hard to quantify. But those tips and tricks and just lessons that you taught in there helped me fill out my resume. So yes, the template was great and wonderful, but it was the lessons of how to do it. And then even it continued to help too when I got this job of how to resign from my previous job. And I resigned in such a way that they asked me to stay as a casual.
Wow.
So now I work part-time for them while I'm still working.
Wow. That's awesome. Good for you. So what would you tell a friend that was thinking about investing in the toolkit, or even a friend that was in the job search? What would you tell them about the toolkit?
It's an investment in yourself, and you deserve to have the job you want. You deserve to have a good job that you like going to, that you feel fulfilled. Investing in yourself, investing in this toolkit allows you to achieve that.
Okay, you guys. So the thing I loved about what Kelly said is you deserve to have the job you want. Okay. I feel like we forget that so often, where it's just, we're trying to just even figure out how to get the job, that we're not even thinking about what we actually deserve or what we're capable of. And I love her messaging. So I'm going to share with you guys, and then we're going to still do resume reviews, what's inside the toolkit so that you can get an idea of what's actually in there. And I know Tori's sharing a link for you in the chat. So inside of module 1, we talk about building your irresistible resume. So again, if you've seen any trainings of mine, you know that your resume is just one piece of the puzzle. Okay. This is where we go through the structure. As Kelly mentioned, she really didn't know how to quantify her achievements. Okay, so we talk a lot about results-driven achievement statements. Inside of module 2, we go into your cover letter, okay, where we teach you how to turn your cover letter into a mini sales presentation. I actually like to look at the cover letter almost like your 30-second pitch, okay? So we kind of dive deep into how is this going to be like a message that is showing your best possible self and really creating engagement with an employer, whether they need a cover letter or not. Because at the end of the day, if they don't need a cover letter, that's totally okay. You don't submit one, but you still need to write some sort of paragraph or 2 paragraphs to introduce yourself in an email, to introduce yourself in a networking message on LinkedIn. So we teach you kind of the components to that. Now, the next part to the toolkit is really where we dive deep into your personal brand and your networking strategy. So we talk about how to craft a compelling LinkedIn headline and about section. What we have found is that as soon as job seekers tailor those 2 sections, they almost immediately start getting interest from hiring officials. Okay. It's almost immediate. So those are the two things that we focus on in there. And then we also bring in the networking templates to help you start tapping again into that hidden job market. Okay. Now, inside of Module 4, we go through your fantastic follow-ups. So just following up after the job interview, all the different times that you're going to follow up, how you're going to make the messaging different from the first follow-up versus the second follow-up versus the third follow-up, okay? So we break that down inside of the toolkit. And then, of course, we always have our career experts, resume templates and examples. So we have over 60, in fact, there's probably way more than that. That was the last time we even counted was 60, where we give you a collection of professionally designed templates and examples to make your resume stand out and land your job with ease. Now, you guys know if you've ever been to a training of mine, I always have some free gifts and some bonuses for you, okay? So inside of the toolkit, our very first free gift is our job search tracker. So this is where you're going to keep your job search organized and on track. It allows you to keep track of important information like what position did you apply for? Who is your point of contact inside the company? What crucial skills are they requiring for that position? What other questions you need to be asking them during the interview process? When did you follow up? When did you have your second follow-up? So we keep track of all of that inside of that job search tracker. Now, the other thing, again, is your powerful pitch, because, again, this is going to be kind of the pivotal moment when you go in for an interview and the interviewer says, hey, tell me about yourself. Okay, like that question is the number one question, and we teach you how to do that by crafting a memorable 30-second pitch, okay? The other free gift inside of the toolkit is our job interview confidence training. In fact, we are updating this training like within the next few days to have our latest interview training where we talk about AI, like how you're using AI in the entire interview process. I shared with you guys a couple prompts today, but there's so much more that goes into prepping for that job interview. And then, of course, our VIP bonus. We are going to throw in our proven ChatGPT prompts. So this is 120 prompts. This is the one thing that Kelly had mentioned earlier. She said, as soon as I started looking at the prompts and learning like what I could start asking ChatGPT and how to ask it is when it really streamlined her job search. So we want you to maximize your job search. We don't want you to be spending time and frustration when you have this beautiful, amazing tool available to help you get through the job search faster. We have a fast action bonus. This is actually one of my favorite things for our toolkit users. The first 20 people to grab the toolkit will receive a 60-minute group career coaching consultation with me and my team. It's an invite-only link to a private session. We have amazing guest speakers come. In fact, all of my Academy members and anyone that has been joining us this year alone for our coaching sessions, we have had some amazing sessions, amazing breakthrough moments with our Academy members on just the mindset around the job. So our next call, I want to say, if my Academy members are here, October 26th, you will get an invite only link to attend that call. That's only going to go to the first 20 people to join the toolkit because we love fast action takers. And what we love even more than fast action takers is fast action takers. So we will be giving, for anyone that is actually enrolling in the toolkit before tonight, so anytime today, we have the LinkedIn job search 3-part mini series. Okay. If you guys did not see this mini series, it's actually a mini series now that we have available for sale on our website, but it is a 3-part series where we go through how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So this is where we take you through every piece that needs to be optimized. We talk about how to showcase your skills professionally, how to build meaningful relationships. And then one of my favorite parts to this is how to establish your thought leadership, okay? Because we want you to be the thought leaders and to grow your influence inside of the toolkit, okay? Or LinkedIn. So again, that's going to be available for you. That's for anyone that enrolls before tonight at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, here's the thing, you guys, the value of everything, the templates, the trainings, the guides, the resources inside of the toolkit is worth more than $35.06. But you can grab the toolkit today for $197. Now, our full price offer on this is $497. That's what it's going to go up to after this flash offer is over. So if you want to get in now for our flash offer, make sure you use the link that Tori has given you. I'm also going to share the link on the page right here, heatheraustin.online/live offer. If you go to that link, it's going to take you to our replay page, the replay of this event, but then you'll also be able to scroll down and actually invest in the toolkit. Once you invest in the toolkit, you'll go through the final step, which is a secure checkout. We do accept PayPal or credit card. If you are interested in using either of those, you can do that. A couple more success stories with you guys, and then I'm going to jump into resume reviews. So I want you guys to meet Erin. So she actually found her dream job and increased her salary. She says, your resume, cover letter, and interview guidance successfully helped me to receive 2 job offers. And here's the funny part. She actually only applied to 2 jobs, she said, and that was being out of the industry for 10 years. She said, I was able to find my dream job, which carries the benefit of increased pay and, most importantly, work in an area which I find rewarding. I truly believe it was your method of guidance and teaching that led me to successfully receiving 2 job offers. And then Heather had written into us. She said, I landed a job. Your resume and cover letter advice helped me get interviews with almost every company I submitted to, just like Noel that I shared with you guys earlier, and an offer that was well above the salary range that the company originally quoted. Now, I also want to introduce you guys to Michael, who he was actually in a very secure job. He hadn't updated his career documents in a long time. And he's like, I'm in a secure job. I don't even need to do anything, right? But then things changed for him and he didn't know where to start. So I want to introduce you guys to Michael. Let me know if anything in his story resonates with you. Here's Michael.
So I'm in the healthcare industry. So I've been in the healthcare industry for over 30 years now. I started off as an X-ray technologist. And then from there, I just started managing large physician groups, multi-specialty groups. I was the vice president of operations, been doing this forever. I utilized your toolkit to help put together my resume and help with me putting together my LinkedIn information and networking, et cetera. So it was a great tool for me to be able to utilize in all of those different areas.
When you purchased the toolkit, were you in the job search or were you just purchasing it to kind of enhance all your career documents?
So I was actually in the job search.
Tell me a little bit about that time. Like, what were you feeling? What challenges were you facing in the job search before you actually invested in the toolkit?
Yeah, it was really all the above. And that's a great question because, I was with Northern Light Health for 7 years. So really I hadn't touched my resume. I haven't really networked. I haven't done any of that stuff because I was in a secure opportunity or a secure job. And so I didn't really see a need to do all of that. And so when I started watching your videos and stuff online, and I learned so much more and thinking, I need to bring myself up to speed on many of those things. And that's where your toolkit really taught me how to network. It taught me how to work on my LinkedIn account. It taught me how to put together my resume and stuff because it has been years since I've done any of that.
Yeah.
So it's been a fantastic journey through that.
What was the most valuable resource for you inside the toolkit?
Yeah, for me, it was the LinkedIn toolkit, just
Awesome.
learning the networking. I've had a LinkedIn account for 100 years, but it wasn't developed like it was supposed to be. And your toolkit helped walk me through that. So it really enabled me to have a much stronger LinkedIn account. And now I think I'm up to like 26,000 people
Awesome.
through
Good for
networking.
you.
Well, thank you. But it's part of going back to your toolkit because your toolkit helped drive me in that direction to help me know how to network, help me know what type of introduction verbiage I should use when I'm reaching out to people to network with, et cetera. So I found that to be the most beneficial for me.
At the time you invested in the toolkit, you had common job search challenges. What would you say was the biggest milestone that you met just from investing in the toolkit?
I really go back to, and I hate to keep using LinkedIn, but I really do think that that was what helped me land my job here in Tennessee through CHS, because it was through that networking that I've learned from the LinkedIn toolkit that enabled me to reach out to the people that actually ended up offering me a job.
If you had a friend right now that was in the job search, they'd lost their job, maybe they were even looking for a promotion or to move on to a new company, what would you tell them about the toolkit?
That anything you can think of is out there. In fact, I do have friends that they haven't updated their resume in many years. They need to start from square one. They haven't updated their resume. They haven't updated their LinkedIn accounts because they've been working for the same organization for many years. You're a one-stop shop, to use that term, because everything is out there.
Okay, so what I love about Michael's story is that he went full force with LinkedIn and networking. So you guys can see what a difference that makes when you apply all the networking things that I talked to you guys about in terms of tapping into that hidden job market and the results that can come from that. So we are still doing resume reviews. I know someone in the chat's like, is she still doing reviews? Yes, I am. So really quickly, just to recap everything that's inside of the toolkit, and then we'll jump into reviews. 4 learning modules, again, where you're going to go through your resume, your cover letter, LinkedIn, interview, okay? We have the experts template and example vault. Free gift number 1 is your job search tracker. Free gift number 2 is your powerful pitch. Free gift number 3 is your job interview confidence training. We also added the VIP bonus of 120 plus proven ChatGPT prompts for job seekers. The fast action bonus, which is going to go to the first 20 people to take action fast on this toolkit offer, a 60-minute career coaching consultation with my team and I. This probably will be gone by the end of the day. Our expiring bonus, so those that enroll today, because I know that if you're enrolling today, you are dead serious about this stuff, the LinkedIn Job Search 3-part mini series. Once you guys enroll, you will have instant access to all of this, minus the coaching session, because the coaching session isn't going to happen until later this month. You also have lifetime access. Now, that is the one thing, as I'm talking to job seekers, when we talk about the toolkit and I ask them what's working, what's not working, one of the things that they always talk about is that it's lifetime access. That, like, Heather, I landed a job like 2 years ago, and then I came back to look at all the new stuff that you added and go through all the new stuff because now I'm in the job market again. So we are always adding new things. You guys, there is nothing else out there for this price point on the internet. Okay. Nothing else out there from someone that joins with you guys so we try and do live streams at least once a month. You have access to me and my team through email. Like, we try and be as available as possible for you guys. There is nothing else out there like this. And I and all my students and all my toolkit people that have used it and are seeing success will say the exact same thing. So again, all you guys need to do is go to heatheraustin.online/live offer to grab the toolkit. I'm still going to be doing resume reviews, but before I do, I want to see if there's any last minute questions that we can get to. And I'm going to put my glasses on. They're a little bit dirty, if you can see. I've got like smudge prints on them. Okay, Tane, hello. I'm so happy you're here. Tane asked, odd question. In the prompts, is there a prompt for finding the top remote companies? I love that. So in the 120 plus ChatGPT prompts, you guys will see it's broken down into sections. So if you remember, that's anyone who has the toolkit. And Tane, I think you have the toolkit. You will see everything's in sections. So it gives you the category. Like, it will say, let's say you don't even know what career to tackle right now. Like, you don't even know where to start in the job search or what you even want to do. There's a lot of prompts to help you pull that out. Okay. Then let's say you figure that out, but now you're thinking, now what companies do I want to target? So that's all in there. It's broken down really nicely in terms of categories. It's not just all jumbled together. It's like step by step. And then the very last category is like salary negotiation, right? Which technically is going to be the last phase of the process. So then there's all the salary negotiation questions. Does that make sense, Tane? Let me know if you need me to clarify. Let me get her question off. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions before I get into the resume reviews. Awesome. So many amazing people coming into the toolkit. Thank you, Tori, for welcoming them all in. Love to see it. Awesome. Let's see. I do want to, Gary had popped in earlier and said, most valuable takeaway, be careful with results. ChatGPT and Bard can make plenty of mistakes. For example, asking it to check simple things on your resume, like do sentences end with periods? Yes, I love this. So again, this goes along with you have to add your personality. You have to infuse anything that ChatGPT gives you. You have to proofread it. You have to make sure it sounds like you. You can't just go and take what it's giving you and put it out to the world. You have to really like double check for certain things. So I love that you mentioned that, Gary. Good thoughts. Okay, awesome. If you guys have not yet popped your biggest takeaway in to the chat, make sure you do that. And we are going to jump into resume review. So let me swap up my screen here. Yes, Tori just says a few last fast action bonuses left. So make sure you guys get in and grab that. Our next coaching session is going to be awesome. Those are my favorite things to do besides live streaming. And by the way, give this channel some love, you guys. I know that I mentioned this at the beginning. If you have not yet tapped the like button, if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, by you guys just showing up and being here and doing those two simple things, it allows us to keep these shows going, okay? It allows us to run this whole entity that we have here. It allows me to keep doing my research and bringing it forward to you. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, interact with us so that we can keep this fun stuff going. Okay. Let's do review. So I actually have, and I might need to increase the size of that. I have a couple resumes to review. Let me get to my side of it. Okay, so can you guys see that okay? Should be up on your screen. Let me increase the size just a tiny bit. So you guys, we had so many resumes submitted for this show. And every time we do this show, there's so many resumes submitted and we love it. And we love to see your resumes. So keep sending them. And it's really hard for us to narrow down on the ones we want to critique because we could critique all of them, but that would take us days and days. But we try and pick the ones that we think we're kind of seeing a common theme and that other people could really get value out of. Not that, there's anything wrong with others. It's just we try to pick the ones that we feel like will really benefit like the majority of people, okay? So on this resume, and I'm going to flip between the template that we have in the toolkit so that you guys can see what this looks like on the other end, okay? So of course, we always have your name and your job title, your title at the top. I would like to see, so for example, in this resume, you have client, customer relations, account management. I want to see a little bit more specific 3 key skills, but I also want to see the title. So on this resume, there was no title. So I didn't know if client was the title. And then I was like, client, what does that even mean? So make sure when you're using the 3 key skills that I teach you guys, that it's very specific, that it's not just something like leadership or management, that it's very specific to what that job is. Now, if you go back to the prompt that I shared with you guys, that it's like extract the top 5 to 10 skills from this position, you should be using what you're finding from your research and using ChatGPT, okay? Now, the other thing is I actually like the name or the contact information to just be on one line right under the title. So let me show you an example. This is, again, inside of the toolkit. This is our master resume example. I want all of you guys, whoever is getting into the toolkit, this is where you're going to start unless you are a special case scenario. There are lots of templates in there. If you're special case, you'll get that. But this is for the majority of everyone. You're going to have the name, and then I want to see the contact information nice and neat. If you don't have your LinkedIn profile yet, we need to get your LinkedIn profile on there. I would also love to see a custom LinkedIn URL, okay? So Sally Smith, let me see. I think I had removed that from that resume, but make sure that you highlight, like it's your name, your first and last name, okay? and it's all on one line. Now, I don't love these check marks that you're using on your bullet points, because to me, it makes me feel like I'm looking at a resume from the 90s. So I want to see just bullet points if you're going to do that. But instead of the bullet points, I actually want to see you put this into a paragraph form. I want to do paragraph form. Now, I gave you guys a prompt to help you write your paragraph, okay? I want something similar to that. So again, I'm going to reference I'm going to reference my example. I'm telling them exactly like who I am, how I can help them, what my expertise are. That's what I want to see. And then if you want to go ahead and add some career highlights, you can, okay? Which is really kind of what I feel like you're doing here, is you're adding career highlights. Now, you have lots of amazing experience, but to me, it's not bringing it to the fore. Like, you're not diving deep into my gut and saying, this person, you've got to bring them in for an interview. Like, for example, leadership-minded, passionate for a client and customer, driven by challenge. Like, that's great. That actually sounds like a great statement that could be more developed on a cover letter. Like, when you say you're leadership minded, give me like an example of that. Like, give me some sort of achievement statement that tells me what that looks like. Like, how do I know you're leadership minded? Okay. And then when you say you're passionate for a client and customer, how do I know that? Like, give me like concrete examples of what you're putting on here. And not just like, oh, I'm a really great leader. Like, let's get more specific. So resume 1, I think you would benefit tremendously from this format, because you could do a nice paragraph, and you could do some awesome bullet points, okay? You don't necessarily need the core competency section in there, because you do have some good work experience. I want your work experience to be as close to the top as possible if you've got some really amazing experience. This is great. I feel like, and I don't know if you used ChatGPT for these parts, but I feel like these are a little bit more developed, your achievement statements. But did I share with you guys? Oh, I didn't share that in this training. There is a prompt that I use to help with the achievement statements, where I tell ChatGPT, write this achievement statement that is results oriented, yada, yada, yada. I feel like you've done a little bit of that here, but here's the thing I want you to be careful of. And I pulled this resume out because all of you guys are going to start using AI, and yeah, hiring officials will know, but we also don't want it to be so blatantly clear. I want you to be very careful with what words you're using, okay? So masterfully managed, to me, I would be like, I guarantee AI said that, right? Especially based on what's at the top. And so I don't know if you need the word masterfully managed. Managed, I think, is okay. Demonstrated exceptional expertise. I think that's good. Exemplified unparalleled efficiency. I mean, now I'm starting, like, you almost can kind of tell, and let me know in the chat if you guys can see this in your own use of ChatGPT, and you know what, I could be totally wrong. Maybe you never even used any AI on this, but I'm just kind of gauging that just from some of these words. I would say, like, maybe don't go so, like, pioneered. Okay, that's an okay word. I don't see it that often. Like, just be really careful about how much of those, because ChatGPT can speak really nicely and it uses those nice words. Let's look more at, like, for example, because I use ChatGPT to help me with these, right? But notice these are a little bit more simple. Increased sales revenue by 30%, improved customer satisfaction by 25%, trained and managed a team of 10 sales representatives. Like, I'm not using super crazy like words. I'm just saying what it is. So I think that's again going to be the line that we have to walk when we use AI, is how can we still make it sound like us without it sounding like, does that make sense, you guys? Love the dates on here. That's good. I would say again, can we make them more results oriented with numbers and data? The best example I can give you guys again is the example that I've given here. Or even if you look down further at our example, boosted revenue growth by 40%. Can you guys see that? Let me make sure you can. Yeah, you can. Boosted revenue growth and lead generation by 40% by identifying the status of accounts, proposing efficiency recommendations, and implementing process improvements. Like, I'm just stating what I've done, but I'm giving it a result. Okay. So I know it can get overwhelming, you guys, but if you know kind of like how to get the result from chat, it makes it so much better. Okay, let me scroll down. So based on my recommendations for you, I want you to go through each bullet point, and I want you to see how can I make these results driven achievement statements. Okay, that's it. And then watch your line spacing, for example. Efficiently managed, thorough record keeping and documentation of all sales using Salesforce software. That word software is like on the second line. Notice all that white space that we still have. I'm going to do whatever I can to decrease that and get it onto just one line, or I'm going to add more to it so it's filling in the space. Relevant experience, project management. Okay, see, this is almost where, for resume number 1, I would love to see you put it in the format in the toolkit, because I feel like some of these you could really change. And if it's super important and relevant to the position you're applying for, you could have your summary and then right under it have like 3 bullet points that are really awesome. That, like, remember I said this to you guys earlier, where if I'm reading your resume and I'm a hiring manager or a recruiter, then I'm like, okay, this is that, yada, yada, yada. And then I've like looked at that and it's taken me 3 seconds and I'm like, oh, this person's awesome. I want to bring them in for an interview and I don't even need to know what else is on their resume, okay? Like, we want them to make the decision right that fast, okay? So I would love to see you kind of reform, reconfigure, and rewrite just a few of this. It's a great, great, great starting point. I also want to see a header on the top, on the second page with your name and your phone number. I think that would be great. Education looks good. Professional skills. I would love to see you change this instead to technical skills, and let's focus as much on the technical skills as possible. I know it's something I've been doing recently with resumes. Let me scroll to the bottom and see. Oh, good. You guys can see that. So on the toolkit master example, it has technical skills. And notice how I'm talking about my technical skills. I want you to put the most technical of all of them, or the most important ones, at the front. A lot of people lead with like mastery of Microsoft Office or Creative Cloud by G Suite, when it's like, oh, those things are a given. Like, everyone knows those. I'm okay with you putting them on there, but don't lead with that. Like, because that's a given. Okay. Let me see if there's any other last minute things. And then, you're about 3/4 of the way down on page 2. I would love to see it filled in with even more information. Like, let's get it a really good thick 2 pages. Okay. If you're going to go to the 2-page, just like this example, like, notice we go all the way to the bottom. Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see that all the way to the bottom on page 2. Okay. Was that resume review helpful? So resume number 1 is done. I have a couple more we're going to go through. Awesome. Yes, Yvette mentioned experience is misspelled in the personal section. Yep. Good eye. Yes. Okay. Yep. Let me know, you guys. Type yes in the chat if this is beneficial for you guys. If you're learning from this review, at least. We have a couple more to do. Yes, Corey made a really good, hi Corey, asked a really good question about the toolkit. Let me pop this up and see if you guys can see that. Corey says, I purchased the toolkit a few years ago. Will I have access to the added features of the toolkit? That's a good question, because we add so many different features whenever we do a live promotion like this. I'm not sure if you have, I know for sure everyone that has purchased the toolkit before has access to the ChatGPT prompt training. If you don't have that, let me know, because we'll add that for you. The 3-day LinkedIn mini series, that was something that we did online, and we took we took that training down, and then we allowed people to purchase it separately. So if there's ever a time where we allow people to invest in a separate service, we don't normally add that to anyone, right? They have to either purchase it or it comes with that promotion, just to be fair to everyone. However, you have access to any updates that we do to what's currently there, which we are updating regularly. In fact, Michael had told me when I had talked to him, when we were talking about the toolkit just a few days ago, he said, I'm so amazed. I went back into the toolkit and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff here, that he hadn't even thought of. And so you do have access to that. But if it's ever a paid resource that we're adding as a bonus or something to that effect, or even the calls, that's part of just the flash offer at that time. Okay. Does that answer your question, Corey? Let me know if you need me to clarify. Okay. Resume number 2. Let me increase the size on this. Adobe changed their whole entire format. So I'm like, how do I even increase the size now? Okay. Resume number 2. So I like a lot of the different categorization on this resume. I think it's good. I can see your summary, your skills, your employment, yada, yada, yada. However, we want to bring this up to 21st century. Okay. We want to I want this resume to look like it's fresh, hot off the press, that you've just put the time and energy in and it's ready to go out. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of recommendations here. Again, name and contact information needs to look exactly like what you see here in the master example inside the toolkit. Okay. And if you don't have a LinkedIn URL, you need to get your LinkedIn URL spiced up. Now, a lot of times I get this question about, Heather, I haven't even updated my LinkedIn profile. Should I put my LinkedIn URL on your resume? And this is what I would say. I would say, yes, put your LinkedIn URL on your resume and freaking stay up until midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning and update your profile. Even if you just follow the 7 sections that I tell you to just optimize, take a few minutes just optimizing those and at least get those ready. Okay, that's it. You don't have to start posting in the news feed. You don't have to start doing anything crazy, but just get those essential sections done and put the URL on your resume. Okay. And I don't think this resume had the URL on it, if I remember right. Okay, next, professional summary. I don't want to see the word professional summary. I want to see the job title you're going for and the 3 key skills associated with that job title. Okay. Then from there, we want a nice juicy summary, not just one sentence. Okay. So I want you to dive deeper into what you have here. And instead of using the word seasoned media professional, I want you to instead, I like the word media professional, but I want you to instead give that media professional some characteristics. So in this example, the characteristics are results driven, sales, marketing, and consulting professional. Well, my characteristics are really results driven. Give me some characteristics about you as a media professional, not that you're seasoned. Okay. So you're going to have to really find some keywords that relate to media professional that you can put in front of that, okay? I do like that you have with a mastery in all facets of post-production media. You're giving me some really good, awesome things here. But again, I could use the word post-production, network broadcast, and I'm just saying digital delivery, I could put that at the very top of my resume in those 3 key skills, and they already know that right away. And then I can now start talking about some other awesome things about me and how I can help your company. Okay, so that's how I want you to look at the summary. So take that, rewatch this if you need to. Now, the other thing I wasn't loving here is I wasn't loving the skills broken up into these different sections, because what you're saying to me by you listing that first before your work experience is that that's more important than your work experience. And if that's the case, if you feel that way, then I want you to have some career highlights. Again, you guys, I cannot show this template enough. I'm telling you, this is like the one thing that everyone says, change the game for them. Okay. Even now in the world of LinkedIn growing like crazy, this resume template has changed the game for so many people. So instead, I want you to have your bullet points of some of your highlights. Then let's go into your work experience, because you have some awesome experience. So let's get that in there and like list some of those things. Now, if I know you're probably a little bit concerned about dates, you just started there, that's not bad. I would like to see you do months. Put a month in there. I don't like to see just years on a resume. So put a month on all of it. And I want you to turn these all into results-driven achievement statements. Okay. And oh my gosh, that's a whole lesson we could like talk about for 10 hours. Trying to think if I can get you guys the video really quick. Let me see if I can get the video, where I actually give you the exact prompts to get your results-driven achievement statements. I think that was in a live stream that I did. Yep, I still have that up. So that one's, sometimes you guys, we take the live streams off of the channel, but this one is still available. So I'm going to pop that into the chat. So watch that resume number 2, and anyone else who's at all confused about what to do, how to make these results-driven achievement statements, because these are like so powerful. Okay. Yes. So Chad, good question. Hi, Chad, says, why are listing the months so important? So I think it's just gives it a little bit more depth, right? So it almost makes me, if I'm just seeing years, I'm like, well, does that mean the person was in that job for like 2 months or 10 months? Like and sometimes if you are trying to hide that you are in a job for 2 months, then that's okay. You can just list the months, but the months to me just give it more of like, I can kind of visualize better what that looks like. And I know, working with lots of recruiters and hiring managers and CEOs and decision makers, we want it to be as easy as possible. The only time you're going to take the months out is if you're trying to make it look longer than you really were there. Does that help, Chad? Okay, let me see if I can get that. Okay, trying to get Chad's comment off the screen. There we go. Okay, let's scroll down and look at the positions really quick. The position here. So the thing I'm not loving here is that you're listing that you're a freelance senior editor. Part of it's on one page and part of it's on the other. We never want to split it up. Either get it all on page 1 or list some more cool things at the top and put it onto page 2. Never split that up, okay? And then again, work really, really diligently to get these into results-oriented statements. Like, for example, like this is pretty cool. Post-produced, edited, and digitally delivered daily political talk show over 755 episodes. That's freaking awesome. Like, I want to see something about that up here. Like, give me your greatest achievements and give it to me in a nice little bullet that I can read and be like, holy crap, that's awesome. Like, because I had to go all the way down here and to see that. Like, that's pretty awesome. And then look at this, okay? This is another cool thing. edited network and show promos for Discovery Channel, Investigation, Discovery Kids. Like what? Like, why is that not at the top for me to be so impressed that you have this experience, to know that you've worked for these large organizations? Like, get that to the top of your resume as possible. I love that. Like, pick out the coolest things and put them at the top in a nice, neat manner, right? Just like this, just like what you see here. That's what I want you to do to your resume. Okay. And then I don't even think I'd do link to work samples on your resume. It's similar to saying like, see, and look, you've worked for HBO, Disney, Cinemax. Like what? This stuff needs to catch my attention because people love that. Like if you can catch them with what's setting you apart from other people, and even this, like edit staff of over 40 direct reports. Like, come on now. Get this up here at the top. So I'm convinced right when I see you and that amazing stuff that like first of all, this right here, like if you are in post-production, I'm already assuming you know this. So this needs to be at the bottom because I'm already assuming you know that. Okay. I love this resume and I know it's going to be freaking awesome when it's done. So, I would do a whole entire other document with your samples and that kind of thing. I wouldn't put a link at the bottom. Okay. Cause you're proud of that. Like include that as a whole separate document that you submit with your resume. Okay, guys, type into the chat if this is helpful for you. Type into the chat if this is helpful for you. Let's see. Melanie asked some really good questions. What about percentages, dollars? I've added those to my resume. Yes, you want to, anytime you can put any sort of data, like a number in any way, a percentage, a dollar amount, a time frame, anytime you can put any sort of like measurable outcome in your resume, it makes it that much stronger. Okay. Yes. Good, guys. Awesome. Thanks. Greenstone Russell says, love this session. So good. Yeah. Someone says, do you have a personal resume editing service for an individual's resumes? I contract out with lots of professional resume writers. I don't write resumes. I teach you guys how to write your resume. But I do have some amazing folks. If you guys ever want to have your resume done, I work with a lot of CEOs, vice presidents of this, vice presidents of that they just don't have time to write their own resume and to learn the strategy behind it. And so we have a team and I have people that I contract with to do that. And of course we all follow the same kind of principle and guideline. Okay, you guys, remember, I'm going to do one more resume review, one more resume really quickly. If you want to join us inside the toolkit, this is our fall flash offer. We don't know if we're going to offer the toolkit again during for a flash promotion like this for the rest of the year. We have other programs and projects that we're working on. If you want to get your feet wet and get going with your job search, definitely join us inside of the toolkit. You'll get to join us for our live coaching session in October. We have our 3-part LinkedIn mini series that you'll also have access to. That's a fast action bonus. So make sure you guys get in. Go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. We've also placed the links for you in the chat and in the comments below. Okay, this resume, I'm hoping this person's here. I don't know if you are. I wanted to review this resume because this is a good example of someone who has actually taken the strategies that I've taught and put some things into a template, and now we just need a little tiny bit of finessing. Okay, that's why I wanted to bring this one up, because I want to show you guys the difference. Like, let's say you have started using the toolkit and you have started using the templates. I know a lot of you guys will do that. And then sometimes we do offer like resume reviews and on some of the promotions that we do. And I get these resumes and I'm always like, oh, I just want them to change that and that and this and that. So this is what I'm doing to this resume. Okay. So I would say get your name a little bit bigger and bolder at the top. Just maybe increase the size a little bit. Of course, I love that you got your contact information right below. It's crossed out, of course. Love that you have your title right at the top. I would love to see you capitalize these. Okay. So anyone who has a resume template of ours already, make sure you've already put your stuff in, make sure you pay attention really closely to this part. Okay. Capitalize this. And you could even make this font a tiny bit smaller. So for example, I think in our template, I don't know what size that is. That's a size, right? But then the 3 key skills are one size smaller and it's all capped. That's what I want to see. The other thing in this one that I wanted to bring up is you have the word leadership here. To me, that's so vague. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what kind of leadership? Okay. Get as specific as possible with this position. So if you're applying for a director of information technology position, I do like that you have global IT strategy and road mapping. Project management, I think that's good. Is there something better that you can use? I know there's something better than leadership, like get really specific with what that looks like. I do also think, especially because you're a director of information technology, I think you could go a little bit longer in your paragraph for your summary. And I would also like to see the spacing condensed a little bit. Does that make sense what I mean by the spacing? So notice in this one, the space in the paragraph is really nice and tight. It's a little bit smaller. This seems really spaced out. So bring that spacing together a little bit. I would also like to see like a quantifiable measurement in here, especially if you're not going to do a career highlight section. Now, you might benefit a lot from a career highlight section because you are applying for a director level position. Okay. So again, that's going to look very similar to, we have a vice president of sales position where you can get some of these bullet points, like some of the most amazing things, like my resume number 2, all those amazing things. I want to see those right at the top. So if you can pull some of those out, put that into your resume as well. If you did that, because this resume is following that same issue that the second resume had, where the IT manager position, part of it's on page 1 and then part of it's on page 2. We never want that. It needs to either all be on page 1 or all be on page 2. So in your case, you technically could throw in a highlight section, and then that's going to push down your IT manager position on page 2. Okay. These are awesome. I don't know if you've used chat already for that, but I love to see the numbers in here. For example, managing the launch of a new website venture resulting in a 65% increase in logins and a 37% increase in new users within the initial 3 months. Okay, do you guys see how awesome that is? So this individual they're telling us like what they've done, and then they're telling us the result of what that is. But not only that, they're giving us a time frame. They're not just ending it at resulting in a 65% increase in logins and a 37% increase in new users. They're saying within the initial 3 months. Now, this is like an ideal way to write your achievement statements, okay? A few little nitty gritty things here. Again, I'm going to say the same thing to you. We never want like 2 words on one line, okay? So for example, this one, overseeing supply chain of organizations, such and such, export systems. I don't want to see those 2 words on that line. Either shorten up that whole entire bullet point or give me more detail to fill that in. Now, the bullet point up from that's okay, because that's, we're going halfway in on that line. This one definitely needs to be fixed. Developing and implementing a custom metadata standard format, improving data quality by 38%. Get that onto one line, okay? I don't want to see the by 38% on one line, okay? Because look at all that white space. Like, let's either fill it in, give them more information, or shorten it. Dates look great. Same thing here. We got to just tighten this formatting up a little bit. I'm also going to give you the same guidelines here. I want to see everything shrunk together a little bit more, not so much spacing in between the bullet points. On the master copy, look how nice and beautiful this looks, okay? We have our bullet points. They're all nice and spaced really well. And by the way, you guys, I'm like a formatting weirdo. I like to format things. And so these things, they make a difference to me. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Just read through each of these. Make sure they are giving you your results-driven achievement statements, okay? For most of you that have ever used a template, you're probably along the same line. Do the exact same thing that I'm telling this person, okay? If you can add more numbers and data, so for example, you have implemented secure cloud storage solutions for company data, improving data security and accessibility. Can you add some data to that, like numbers? Like, how do you, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of how improving data security and accessibility. Like, can you measure that? I guess is what I'm trying to say. What measurement can you place to this? Measure whatever the heck you can, okay? If you can, put some more sort of measurement in there. This is good. Bachelor of Science, Mass Communication, super good. Let me talk about the date on there for just a second. When was 2003? What year are we? 2023? Okay, here's the thing. This is now at the time, and trust me, you guys, I'm old too, where you want to start thinking about leaving certain dates off of stuff, okay? I would say take the date off of that one. I would also say in place of the date, so you have mass communications, is there something cool that you can add to the degree? I don't think I did that on the example. Yeah, I didn't do that I got to take the dates off of this person's resume on our template. You're just getting to that point where, yes, age discrimination is something that people are looking at, and you want to be really careful about. You want to get them on convincing them to bring you in for an interview without making a decision, whether if you're young or old, okay, or whatever that might be. So just pay attention to that. Certification, skills, and interests. I'm interested to know why you put interests, because normally you don't put that on a resume, especially like hobbies. I almost want this again, and I say the same thing. Let me see if you guys can see that. Oh, good, you can. I would almost say certifications and technical skills. Or if your certification is big enough, you could group it in with the education section. Like it could be education and certifications. And then what ends up happening is if you take the date off of education, and let's say you put your Google Project Management certification and your Management Explored Leadership program inside of education, like it's now becomes more of like an education and training section. I would still list bachelor's first, I think. But because you have a 2023, that's bringing you more to relevancy, right? Does that make sense, you guys, that part? And then I'm debating over 5 years of experience in small group leadership on number 3s. I would save that for your LinkedIn profile. Okay. Because yeah, that's cool, but I do think if you can get it on your profile and talk more about that there, and let's have them focus on like your professional experience, I guess. Okay, you guys, those were some awesome resumes. I'm so glad that you guys submitted them. Thank you so much for doing that. I know that we get so many of those submitted, and we have the hardest time choosing whose resumes to review. Let me just see if there are any last minute questions. Again, you guys, make sure you jump in and get inside the toolkit. If you have not yet joined us in the toolkit yet, it's our fall flash offer. We don't know if we're going to have it available again before the end of the year. So make sure you get that in. I do want to see a couple of questions. Again, heatheraustin.online/live offer, I believe is the... Okay, Deanna, hello. Let me see if I can get your question up on the screen. Deanna says, I have 2 addresses, San Diego and Naples, Florida. They won't fit on the same line with a phone number, email, and LinkedIn. Okay, so let me ask you this. Why do you have 2 addresses? And are you applying for remote positions? I would say you got to pick one or the other, because maybe you have a second house or something to that effect, but I would pick one location and forget the other, unless you're actually applying for a position. Like, let's say you have some positions in San Diego you're applying for, and then you have some that are in Naples. You're going to change the location depending on one. Just use one, because you do need room for your email, phone number, and your LinkedIn URL. Hopefully that helps. Good question though. I like being able to pop the questions on the screen for you guys. Let me see if there's anything else, any other questions. Sometimes it shows up, like if you guys type question before your question, it actually shows up yellow for me. So it makes it so much easier for me to find the question. Okay, here's another one. Elizabeth asked, what if you were promoted in a company in a short period, 3 months? Should both titles be under one position on a resume or separated into 2 different jobs? If it was just a 3-month, you could include both under one section. Now, here's the cool thing about if you're promoted with the company, and this would be longer than 3 months, it's really cool to have it 2 separate sections, because it shows your progression. 3 months is such a short period of time that I think keep it into under one piece with 2 titles. But if it was longer, it was like you were in one position for a year and another position for another year, or whatever, like a couple years each position, then it looks really awesome on your resume to show that you've progressed. Good question. Okay. Let me see if there's any other ones that we can add really quickly. I know there's tons of comments, you guys, and I can't keep up with all of them that come in. So it's hard for me to see what questions to highlight and not highlight. And I'm kind of going back to earlier. Okay, good. So Colleen asked a question, what happens when you customize your resume for a specific job, but your LinkedIn has your general resume? So you are going to customize your resume for every single job. It is harder to customize your LinkedIn profile because it's always there. Okay. You're not going to like apply for a job and then tomorrow go and change your headline. I would say, hopefully most of you are applying for positions that are within the same industry. So you'll have like a general LinkedIn headline that you can use, and you'll have, and I have a very specific way of when I teach you guys how to write your headline, how to write your summary, how to develop your work experience. Like it's so specific, like it's very step by step. But I would say, with your resume, with your LinkedIn headline, if there's one of the positions that you're like really leaning toward the most, I would tailor your LinkedIn headline to the one that you're just like, this is my number one job. Like if you guys remember back to the video success stories that I shared, and Kelly says, you deserve to be in a job you love. Like so much of the time we forget about that. We forget about our own like aspirations and more of like, how can we fit ourselves into this box, instead of saying like, I want to create my own opportunity. Like think of that. Like think about setting your sights so high and tailoring that LinkedIn profile to the number one job, even if you're not as qualified as some of the other positions, like set your sights high, okay? And then always tailor the resume. You could choose to switch a few things out on your LinkedIn profile if you needed to, but generally it's going to stay the same. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to see if there's any other questions that we can answer. Any last minute questions, you guys pop them into the chat. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Ahmed asked a question about, does the live offer include the bigger list of ChatGPT prompts? Yes. You actually get access to a full-blown, there's over 120 prompts. It's broken down by category. So if you guys remember back to one of the very, very, very first slides that I shared, let me pop this slide back up really quick. I shared a slide that is the, let me get to it, is our life cycle basically of a job seeker, okay? We have, with the prompts, they are, in fact, I think there's more than what you see here. I can't remember exactly. Anyone that has it, you can tell me, but we have the prompts are broken down into these categories. So it's going to be like, well, actually, I think it's like career exploration is first. Like if you have no idea what you even want to do, well, let's go ask your new AI friend for some ideas. Okay. Like tell them what you're good at, what you like to do, what other people have said you're good at, and let's start getting some lists together. So inside of the toolkit, you get all of the prompts. And again, these prompts, I could give you guys like 1,000 prompts. Okay. But these are there just to get your wheels spinning. Okay. For each of the sections. Good question. Okay. Let me get back to the chat. I know there were a couple more questions that I wanted to answer here. Okay. Leslie, hello. So happy you're here. Leslie says, should I apply for the current role of exec assistant or wait until I get my social media certification to apply for that role? I would say apply right now. And I would say put that you're working toward it. And you could even put on there like completion date or expected completion date. Don't wait any longer. The sooner you can get in for a role, the better. Like the sooner you can get your information submitted, let the hiring officials know you're alive and well and you're able and that you're valuable and you can add all that. Yes, Kim says, love that. Wanting to create my own opportunity. I love that. Good. Okay, Melanie says, does that raise a red flag? How to explain why experience is left off the resume? I'm not sure, Melanie. I must have mentioned something earlier about that. Can you be more specific with your question? Oh, I'm wondering if you're talking about the dates. Not sure. But feel free to pop in and tell me. Yes, good. Awesome. Okay, you guys, that was such a jam-packed session. We have been online now for over 2 hours. So this replay will be available for you guys. So you'll be able to catch the replay. The flash offer is not going to be available forever. So if you are wanting to get in and join us inside the toolkit, you'll have instant access to all of the amazing templates, the video tutorials, everything to take you step by step through this process. There's nothing else out there on the internet today like the toolkit, okay? And we do a pretty good job and work pretty hard to make sure that it's something that works for you guys and it's working in the time. Let's see. Let's see. Melanie says, older experience in an interview asks you why you left them off. Okay, so I think, Melanie, what your question is you're asking about like taking certain things off of your resume and then, yes, Catherine. Catherine says, OMG, what a marathon. I love you, Catherine. You're so awesome. I hope you're doing well. So yes, when you're in an interview, like really the most important thing is you want to show them the value you bring. Okay. And what they're looking for is what is like your most recent experience and how are you going to bring value to the company? So whether you leave off an older date or older experience, it's all relative, okay? It all comes down to how can you show them that you're the best fit for the position? How can you show them that you bring the best value regardless of dates and gaps and transitions and all sorts of things? It's like, what are you bringing to the table? And why should they pick you over 10, 20 other candidates? It really comes down to that. And it really comes down to getting in front of them so that you can talk about yourself, so that you can show them that you're freaking awesome and that you are the best fit and that you can rule over any other candidate that might be applying for the position, right? So it's all relative, but good questions. Thanks for being here, Melanie. I'm glad that you asked all those questions earlier. Yes. Awesome. Thanks, Chad. It says, appreciate your time and knowledge. Thanks for sharing. You guys keep an eye on our channel. We have even more amazing content coming your way. If you haven't given this channel love, give me a big, huge thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You could even comment below with, if you've stayed here this whole time, comment below with dream job on this video so that I know that you stayed here this entire time. With you guys, by you guys interacting and enjoying the content and liking the content, it allows us to produce more trainings like this. It allows us to do the research and to show up live with you, to answer questions and to be available for you as you're going through the job search. So make sure you guys do all those good things to give this channel love. And we will be back again next week with a brand new video. So tune into the channel for that. And then, of course, more amazing trainings that we have planned for you throughout the year. If you have any questions for me and my team, make sure you email us at heather@professoraustin.com. Tori's in the inbox and she is always there, and we're always here to help you guys. So enjoy the rest of your week, you guys, and we will be in touch. Thanks, everyone.